23. She left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow. I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt the glow. The warmth inside me, it kept me afloat. It felt like heaven had found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. Best friend to 23. I heard the heavens crying above me. The gained an angel, I lost a friend. I felt like dying again and again. I went through hell, stared at death, but I keep fighting with each living breath. I saw no way out from where I stood. Felt like the fire had burned me through. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone.
Oh, what's up, nerds? Welcome back to the Aggressively Average Angler podcast. Today it's actually not cold outside right now, but we are moving into colder weather. The water temps are down, so that's a big deal. I think this weekend we were at like 52. We've hit weekends where it's like almost pushing into the 40s. And coming up soon, it will be. And then it's dropping further. So what do we do when it gets cold? Where do the fish go? What are the fish doing? What's working right now? What's not working right now? And because this is the AAA podcast, the Aggressively Average Angler podcast, our spin on this is always, what have we been learning? Who have we been learning that from? So we're talking like gurus out there in the fishing space, big channels that know big stuff, tips, tricks, tactics, all of that. And we want to share whatever we've learned with you, as well as our actual experience having tried those tactics and techniques on the water. We had a chance to put a few into action this weekend, and guess what? They worked. So we're going to talk about those. And then we're going to talk about our plans going into the rest of, what do we have, Paul? 3 weeks, 4 weeks in Michigan, probably.
I think honestly,
if we're lucky.
First of all, anybody that is getting what we're getting right now, which is like 60-degree days,
Yeah.
and a couple of 70 and 80-degree days, like low rain, like moderate rain, moderate wind, and like temps in the 40s at night, 50s at night, you should be thrilled. Like, this is the
Yeah.
fall that we always ask for,
Oh,
and we
this is a
never
dream.
receive. This is legitimately the absolute best. It is really hard to, like, today, got out of work, 62 degrees, no wind. And I was like,
Yeah, yesterday
Are you-
I raked 400 million leaves off of my yard. Paul can attest to that. There was about 3 feet of leaves in my yard, the entirety of it, and wore a t-shirt the whole time. So yeah, Austin Hall, we're not complaining. Minus 25 Celsius sounds like absolute hell where you're at, and also you probably already have ice. Gosh dang. So no, we're not complaining about that. What we're talking about today, rather than complaining about today, is what are we doing to actually catch these fish? Because regardless of how we feel with the outside air temps, the water temps are still dropping. And with that said, the fish are doing different things. They're behaving differently. So we've had to adapt, move, and try to figure them out, which is, you guys have heard us say this 1,000 times, it's part of the fun. That's the puzzle. That's what we love to do. It can be frustrating on a long day, especially when you get, 1 day a week that you get to fish, but we make do. We make it work. So that's what we're getting into today, y'all. So thank you so much for being here. As always, if you guys like the podcast, be sure that you're subscribed to the channel because we're going to be fishing the stuff that we talk about today. So there's more videos coming up. We've actually filmed a bunch. We have, for the first time in like, I can't remember when, we have a back catalog of like 8 to 10 videos. So what we can promise you guys, although it will be winter soon, is that we're going to have fishing content continuously come out. So, hey, that 1 or 2 people that comment on every video that is an unboxing and say, you should go fishing. Guess what? We're still going to be posting it, even when we can't physically be fishing at that time. So we're excited about that. We do have a back catalog of fishing content that'll be dropping. So again, subscribe to the channel. You can help us out today by smashing a like on this video, ring that notification bell for future notifications of our videos and lives and all those things that drop. And then invite anybody you want in here because today we're doing it a little bit different. We're going to be doing a giveaway with maybe some baits and accessories. And maybe we stick with that. Maybe we change things up. Maybe it's time for a shift. Let's have some fun with it. And we'll just grab some random things from around one of our offices. Right, Paul? Is that what we agreed on?
Offices.
Office size. So we're going to grab some stuff and put it together for somebody. We'll do a fun little giveaway there. And yeah, I mean, if you guys are listening to this podcast right now, hey, appreciate you. You should come to the lives. They're Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'd love to see you here, talk to you in chat. And of course, subscribe wherever you're listening to this and drop us a 5-star review. I'm done. Anything else? Oh, there's a few discount codes for you guys that you should be using right now. So if you want, through Christmas, if you go to Salty Scales, specifically Salty Scales, there's like another one that's not Salty Scales. It's Salty something. I can't remember what it's called. Anyways, don't go that one. It's the one that has this
Salty
S.
Sammys.
But no, Salty Sammys.
I would go to that
So
place.
Josh put the link in the description. It's the one with the S on Paul's shirt right there. If you want that right there is the Raglan hoodie.
This thing is sick.
We both got that. I absolutely love it. And they also have these really cool shirts that have like a full scale sleeve.
I'll get it. I got it
Okay,
right
cool.
here.
But if you guys want to get a discount, you can get 20% off using BRRRRRR20, BURLY20. Check this out. This is a smallmouth
really
bass shirt.
well. They fit really well. This is the back.
And these are like performance sun shirts too.
Oh, what? Yeah. These are not like those garbage ones either. These are spandex.
Yeah.
Well, they're not like the ones that like they're breathable, but they feel like you're wearing a paper bag.
Yep.
That's not what this is.
Look at that sleeve.
It is so dope.
That's
I'm not
freaking
gonna lie.
sick.
That's freaking sick.
Yeah.
The old
So-
American flag with the smallie. That's freaking sick.
Yes, Paul is currently wearing a hood, by the way, so everybody ridicule him in chat.
You know what? It's so funny you say that because I noticed that when I was earlier today, and I was like, the hood was like down here for no reason like this, and I was like,
it's a fairly big
this
hood.
is why I hate this shirt. I mean, like, oh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and stand up and like these hoods are dumb. Look, I live in
Anyways.
Michigan, okay? If you're in Florida and you live at the surface of the sun, that's fine. You want
Need
to
a
cover your
hood.
head, go for it. I'm
And
in
that
Michigan. It
gator-
was 60 degrees. Yeah, I didn't need any of this. I didn't ask for this. It's a nice shirt, though. I won't lie. It's pretty dope.
He's got a hood on. Anyways, also, as you guys maybe saw the Monday video we just dropped, so we are working with Busby right now, so you guys can help us out. Support us as well as Busby, who make an amazing tackle organization system. If you want to see all the ins and outs of it, of just about everything they have, I think except for the swarm bag we got just about everything. And that's just because we didn't need the swarm bag. But these are amazing tackle boxes. They do float. They've got compartments that you can organize. Everybody was worried about
seals. These are
Yes.
super nice. They're super soft. They've got new trays. These slim trays are dope. These are super
Yeah, the
skinny
thin
compared to
boxes
the
are
old
sweet.
ones. People were asking like, well, how do you get them out? Doesn't it just knock everything around? I'm like, no, I do this
No.
all the time.
See, he
They
did
just
it.
pop right back in. It's super simple.
It's a
And
Lego.
then they're not like moving around. Yeah. I mean, this is the slim box, so they make the deeper one, but dude, this thing is friggin' tight. And it's just like rock solid.
Those of you guys that are listening right now, he is holding up a Busby box and it looks glorious. So go check it out.
It is great. Yeah, for
we-
all those you can't see it, I have the slim box, but whatever. Sorry. it's a
Anyways,
podcast.
we do have a code for that. So if you guys want 10% off, just use Burley Fishing 10. Just our channel name, 10. There you
And
go.
just so
You
you
get
guys-
10% off.
And just so you know, like you don't get that discount. Like they don't give out discount codes.
Yep.
You're probably, I don't know, I'm not gonna say we're like the only one. one of the very, very few people who have one to give out, and they do not have them on the site. You sometimes
Yeah.
can get one when you do your first order, but after that, it's done. And so, something to think about. Like it is a premium product. We totally understand that, but you get 10%. It's helping out.
Personally, you got to think about it as an investment. It's worth it. Keeps your tackle healthy and not destroyed, and they float. So it also keeps your tackle from disappearing, which is nice. And then Joshua Simonson says, "Have you tried the rod sleeves?" We did. We tested out in the office when we got
Dude,
them.
hold
They
on.
are
I have
ultra
one
heavy
right
duty.
here. That's what I was gonna say. So I actually have
They
one
are
right here.
super heavy duty.
The only ones that compare, I actually have the only one that can compare, and it really doesn't, is the
Sixth
Sixth Sense
Sense.
multi rod
Yep.
sleeve, which is very nice. I'm happy to say it's very. I need to do a. Actually, I did that last year. I need to go back and do a follow up video on all the Sixth Sense stuff I bought.
Oh
Because
yeah,
I actually have the rod right here that I bought. I have all the terminal tackle, which I'm actually also happy to report is just as nice as the terminal that you get on the crankbaits.
yep.
But that rod sleeve, the multi rod sleeve, is so clutch.
It's rad.
So this is the Busby one that I'm holding, the rod cover. This is like a hard rubber grip. It's super nice.
It's
I'm sure it will
notice that
die at
it's
some point, but it's all like one piece molded rubber, like soft rubber.
It's right
Um,
by where your bait is gonna be. So if a
yep,
hook, a stray hook hits that, it's not gonna like peel the neoprene apart like it seems
yep.
to happen on some rod sleeves.
And it
So
does have
it's pretty cool.
the extra long elastic piece. The
Hmm.
reason I like that is it can accommodate like up to like a 7, I think a 7.4 is what they say, but 7.6. But
Yep.
sometimes you go even longer, and you can hold multiple rods. Like this will accommodate 2 rods. And then it's super thick. Like this thickness of the neoprene, I think it's got to be like 6 mil, 8 mil. It's double what I think everybody else's is.
It's heavy
It's super
duty.
nice. I don't even know how much they are, but I mean, I don't really care. If you actually are using a rod cover for travel, no, I'm
It's
serious. Like
worth
if
it.
you're
It's an
using a rod cover
investment.
for travel, those other ones, like I don't actually know what they're protecting. Like the Monster Bass ones, they're
The
nice,
ones
but
we got
like
from MB, like they
they're
just slide
keeping you
over.
from like maybe getting scratched. But like this is actually going to give you some protection because of how thick it is.
True.
Those like
True.
woven net ones, they don't really. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
I always end up like destroying those in my
Yeah, I
first
never use
use.
them. Well, this is like the thing that grinds my gears. You know how you know what? Remember how you were talking about uh frugal versus cheap?
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. So if you're gonna buy a rod cover, you're gonna go spend money on a rod cover. You spend $5.99 on one of those other ones where like the guides poke right through on the
Immediately.
baitcaster guides. They poke right through instantaneously. So like there's your
Yep.
protection gone. Or you could spend like $15 or $20 or whatever this is and be like, okay, I got one really good one for when I
Yeah.
travel. Maybe that's all I could afford instead of 2 garbage
Yeah.
ones that are gonna die. That's the difference between being frugal and being like, I will wait and get the one that's gonna work and last versus buying 2 of the cheap ones and then really not having any rod covers. That's the difference between
Exactly.
frugal and cheap.
I mean, we have the same argument for the tackle boxes, but you know what? We're gonna save that for next week because y'all, next week's episode is gonna be a blast. It's gonna be all about tackle organization. So at this point, between Paul and I, we probably used like 200 boxes, 200 tackle boxes
I
easily.
have at
Um,
least 20 minimum right behind me that are
I've
half in
we
use.
we've given away 25, 50 or so, let alone thrown away a bunch, trashed a bunch. Like we've used them all. You name a brand, we've used it. So we're going to talk about that and what we've learned and experienced throughout the last several years at least, and share that with you guys. So it'll be all about like us kind of prepping for tackle organization season, which is a lot of fun. And those videos are a lot of fun to make, and you guys seem to like them, and they get a lot of views. So we're going to keep doing those. There's going to be a few coming down the line here. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Let's get to the Q of the D.
All right, 11 minutes in, cue the D. We're great. So,
Nailed it.
what are your favorite dad swears? And I think we should take the top 3 that come
Top
from chat and
three.
us, and
Okay.
then put them into a vote.
Okay. So my first one is actually I got it from my mother-in-law. So it's
Oh.
more of a mom swear, but she always says sugar instead of the word you know it
Oh, that's
is.
pretty good.
She's like, "Oh, sugar." And it just sounds so funny to me every time she does it to this point, and I've been married to my wife since 2009,
Hot minute.
and
I
I've
was
known
there.
her since 2002. So it's been decades, and she has been saying this the whole time. Every time she says it, still I laugh. So that's my first one. What's
That's pretty
yours?
good.
Right?
I think mine is relatively newcomer to the scene. And it's What the Fart. Um,
I love that
it's
one.
so good. It has it's still, like,
You get to go
risque if you're a 2-year-old.
which is like get that
Yo,
aggression out.
fart yourself.
Art.
It's so awesome, and then no one expects it. It's
No.
not common, and that's why I think I really like it, is that no one else uses
Yeah.
it. So when I drop it, it's a novelty factor, which is that's big for me. I like that with my dad cusses.
Yeah. I mean, when it gets the giggle from people around you who have never heard it
Yeah,
before, you're
yeah.
like, nailed it.
Boom. Dadded ya.
All
The
right.
other one that I will say, there was an older gentleman that I used to work with. He was,
Yeah.
in his early 60s, and whenever anything would, like, surprise him, he would say, and this unironically, not as a joke, totally, like, his brand of dad swear
Yeah.
was, and I quote, "Jumpin' Jehoshaphat." And I'll tell you, I used he would say it with so much "Jumpin' Jehoshaphat," tons of emphasis and excitement, and it got me every single time. It was gold. He had the delivery. He had clearly said it hundreds of thousands of times in his life, and he was just
Yeah.
not gonna let it go. He brought that
Yeah.
one back from, like, the '20s, and it's still great.
I mean, it still holds true, man. There's about a million others. I love fire truck. I also like using the word fridge in place of the F word. That works for me.
Yep.
And then probably my go-to is just, you guys ever hear your dad just like grunt? Just like make
Son of a
non-verbal sound. Like that is the when in place of a swear. That I do it. I do it now. I used to love it when my dad did it. And like my dad would usually not hold back. He would actually just cuss. But
Oh,
like
yeah.
when I'm around my kids, I try to go and then I just like walk out of the room. That's like one of my favorites. The non-verbal dad swear.
Yes. I would say the other one that's, a relative newcomer is "Son of a fa," 'cause it's
And then you just linger on the A.
"Son of
Fa.
a fa." Those are some good ones, man.
All
There's
right,
a
there you
couple,
go.
Some
Some good ones.
we got an "Oh Sugar Shack,"
Great
calling
Aunt Jemima.
calling someone a goofus, which I like a lot. That's not bad. Um,
Dingus is my favorite. Yeah, dingus. And I'll say
yeah.
that to everyone in my household.
I do like everything Red Foreman is always good. So Dumb
Yeah,
Bunnies is definitely a solid. Uh,
bunnies. Oh man.
I like it.
Chaz
All right.
Chaz just said the C word into our headphones, so he is not allowed to do
Well,
dad swears.
you technically did. That's literally what you said. Um, this is good. All right, good dad swears. I'm sticking with
All right.
What the Fart. It's still that's top shelf.
It's a good one. The non-clean version of that is also my favorite that I text you all the time, which is WTF word. And it's like
Yeah.
you think it's gonna be just the
It's
acronym
spelled
WTF.
it's
And
pronounced
then if you guys ever want to just get somebody going, just type in WT and then the F word. And they don't see it coming ever. It's pretty fun. All right. Anyways, let's get
show
into
me.
the meat and potatoes.
Well, I do wanna talk tactics. Now,
Hmm.
anyone will tell you, and this is so we should digest here. If we
I
go backward, this is
digest.
what this is what we're gonna talk about. We wanna talk about winter fishing tactics. So this would be like 50 degrees and under-ish, water, I think is winter fishing for most people.
It's slow
Obviously,
down
down south, it's
fishing.
different. This is, like, very cold water. This is like, you're not getting in, and if you get in, you're getting out very quickly.
But I
Um,
mean, like that could also mean down south it's in the 60s.
I
Like
know, that's what I'm
that's
saying.
cold for those fish. So
Correct.
whatever changes the behavior of the fish is really what we're talking about here.
Yes. But typically, for a
Hmm.
bass, you're
Yeah.
talking 55, 50
Yeah.
degrees and under. That's what I'm talking about, roughly. Um, so the process doesn't change. The process
Yep.
is still the same. Step one, find the fish. That's every single time it's step one. You don't get out and just start cast. Well, you can and you do, but like
You totally can.
ideally, if you were like a pro and you were gonna like scout this lake and try to figure out how to catch fish, the step one would be find the fish. So I
Yeah.
wanted to start there. So I conventional wisdom will tell you when it gets that cold, you're gonna start seeing fish in deeper areas. There is a huge asterisk on this though, and this is
Yeah.
from research
Yeah.
that so I actually did some research this week.
I did
Research
too.
research that I have found in general rule of thumb would say while maybe at the maybe at the very early in the morning and very late, you might find fish down deep. Where you
Yep.
might find fish alternately, after the water starts heating up is actually going to be off rock piles, off more shallow muck areas, or anywhere that has, and this is going to sound weird, but think like ledges or very steep drop offs because that are sun facing. Because
Yep.
what's going to happen is the assuming the water's not black, that area is actually going to heat up, and it's a huge area that gets heated up because it's warm and it's vertical. And so this is why sometimes you'll find fish shallow when you're supposed to be looking for fish deep. So like Jeff and I actually experienced this last weekend. We saw a lot of fish on this open flat in like a 3-foot section of water. And there was a drop off right next to it. It's actually pretty stark. It's like a 14-foot drop, 12-foot
Mm.
drop right near it, but it wasn't sun facing yet. So the sun had been warming up like the flat area. And my guess would be on the backside where that sharper drop off was is where you would
Yeah.
start to see fish as the sun like starts facing that area. But we didn't expect to find fish shallow. We thought it was going to be deeper areas, and it ended up being 3 feet of water, but it was probably 10 o'clock, and
Yeah.
that's when the bite heated up.
So like John Van Dyke just pointed out, areas that hold warmer temps, right?
Mhm.
And you can look up, I mean, you can experiment with this in your house. So go to a window where the sun is facing that window, and
Just
obviously
watch your
that
dog.
like where does your dog go? Or if
Where
you
does
guys
your
have a
dog
cat,
go?
where's your cat go? Like they're laying in the sun. Why is that? Well, the water surface is just like that. It's still, yeah, it's heating up thanks to the sun rays, right? So go where there is, rock, especially if you got break walls, if you got, just different variations of cover like that, where the sun is just shining right on down on it. That's heating up. The fish want that. So they're going there, especially since right now, this time of year, like they're feeding up, they're foraging, but they don't want to do a lot of work for it. They don't want to go crazy. So if you can dangle a nice delicious meal in a semi-warm area, you got a pretty good chance of like finding a fish. Like, and this is for my folks without the sonars. You can use your eyes and you can just go off of that to start is a great starting point. And I had a few guys like commented, I can't remember, it was like a video or an Instagram or something, I don't know. But somebody was commenting about like, oh, well, I don't have,
That was
panoptics. Oh,
here.
it was one of our
It was here.
last,
It was the last show, and
it was
so
Bass
and
Geeks episode.
the
Yeah. And they were
the
like,
comment was, I remember this comment. It was a good one,
yep,
and I liked it. The
I
comment
did too.
was, "Once I hear live sonar or
I'm
like
out.
HDS, I'm out
Yeah.
because it doesn't apply to me." Um,
But
I
it
my
does
my
actually.
response is actually is twofold. It's yes and no. Yes, I've been where you are. I understand what you're saying. What you're saying is I don't have that tool at my disposal, so the tip you're giving me is not
Won't help.
helpful. And I
I get it.
understand that probably 85, 95% of people are not going to have access to that technology or don't want to or are bank fishing or whatever.
Yep.
And I guess that was not the point of the tip. The point of the
Nope.
tip was here's what I'm seeing on my sonar that you can use. Now, to
Yep.
say keep trying baits until you see the fish, but I totally get that. You're not going to be able to use that. But if you're at a place where you are very confident there are fish, if you're at a place where you're like,
Like,
okay, I've like this spot is heating up, like there
right.
should be fish here, you've got to give all of your baits 5 to 10 casts. You've
Yeah.
got to give them a legit college try, and then you got to swap to the next one with confidence, knowing this
Yeah.
wasn't it. Try a couple of things that are really different, maybe 3 to 5 baits at that spot. If you're not getting them, then just move on.
Right.
You may be right, you may be wrong, but that was the point of the tip, not, "Hey, use your sonar or else you're not doing it right."
Well,
That was definitely not it.
in the context though too, he was talking about the Demiki rig, right? And he was like, you got to put this where there are fish. However, he was saying they were busting in that area. So like if they're busting, guess what? Eyeballs work, right? You can see them busting. Throw the Demiki rig there. Let it slow fall down. You got it. And yeah, that's really it. Like I love the live scope options as a learning tool. Like you can learn so much from it. Do you need it to catch fish? Absolutely not. And sometimes it can be harmful. And like we've had this conversation because then you start relying on it too heavily and you stop using your brain. And then that can cause problems. So we try to alternate between that and like just using the knowledge that we've gained or experience that we've gained instead of relying 100% on it. So yes and no, I'm with Paul on that. That's actually, I think, exactly what I commented back to the guy. I was like, just look at it as a learning tool more than anything else. Just because somebody uses a live scope, one, doesn't mean they're like cheating or anything. Two, doesn't mean you can't learn from what they're saying. So please don't skip those videos. Please don't skip Bass Geek's videos just because he's using live scope, dude. Watch that dude. One, he's a geek, which is like synonymous with nerd, and two, like he knows what he's doing, and he's going to convey a lot of knowledge over to you. So please subscribe to that guy. Watch what he does. It's very helpful. And I guess third point, get a castable sonar if you really, really want to try to see what kind of cover is there, but you got to get a good sonar. Don't mess around with like the low end ones. Like you're gonna have to do like the deeper chirp. I think the chirp was the one we actually liked. The other ones that
$300.
we tried like 4 of them. They weren't amazing. Well,
I
from the
still
bank, you don't have a lot of choice, and 300
I know,
bucks
I'm
is
not
like
I
it's an
know.
investment,
I'm not
but
sold on those. I know we're going off the rails here. You can add it to the counter, but
no, dude, the
my
counter.
deal the thing I don't like about those is requirement for an extra rod, the gigantic splash that happens when you throw it, the fact that
I mean, it works with my glide baits. Just cast past and reel through. It's fine.
yeah, but I'm not trying to catch it on my
No,
sonar.
but
I
you're
mean,
not gonna disturb them if you go past and reel
I
through. It's a
I
heavy
know. It's
thing.
but you're limited, right?
Never
So
mind.
it's just I see what you're saying. It's
I
limited.
digest.
You've potentially limited a spot. I just don't love it. It's a good solution for what we have today, for
Yep.
what's available today. I don't like the fact that you have to have another rod. I mean, yes, you can baseball whip that thing with like fishing line on it. I mean, really.
What if you just hit it with a baseball bat?
See,
Just forget.
that's an idea that I think no one should try.
All right,
Um,
cool.
but
Put it
yeah,
on a
I don't
bungee
know. I'm
cord
not
too. Just
sold. It's like I respect people
whip, whip, whip.
that are using it and that have made use of it. Like I definitely think you
Yeah.
can, and I would recommend if you're the type of person that's like a
If you're
real
only
like
from the
fishing
bank.
scientist. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but
Sure.
man,
Yeah.
I don't. I
All
think
right.
otherwise. I
Anyways,
think figure it out.
back on the rail. Here we go. Anyways, so what was the original point? Let's go back to the original point,
So
right? Like what's happening right now?
finding
Find
that
the
spot,
warming
right? So
spots.
you're
Yeah.
trying to find the warming spots. But I think
Yep.
the second the Jeff kind of alluded to like what are they actually doing? They're slowing down. So like all of their processes are like gearing up for like think of hibernation. Like
Their
they
body
are
slows down, so they're not
because
wanting to
because
expend energy.
because they have to expend extra energy to survive for a long period of time in
Hmm.
super cold water. Well, it's what is for them super cold water. Now, but Jeff mentioned like they are feeding up, so they are doing like what a bear would do. They're going to eat a bunch of food and gorge
Yeah.
before that, which is why I'm using air quotes for people who can't see it. The fall bite is so good. Like
Yeah.
the fall bite is rad because
Oh,
the
they
water's
will
not
wreck
so
it.
cold that the fish are slowed down and but they'd have nothing else on their mind. There's no spawn that they have to worry about. They're just eating. That's all they're doing is getting as fat as possible to have a bunch of energy to get them through the winter. Um, Now the fall bite is like there's a lot of baits on the menu. Like almost anything can work because they have energy. The water's not getting cold. They will chase and can chase absolutely everything
Hmm.
post fall, when you hit that 55-degree water mark, all of a sudden everything kind of changes and like the calculus changes. And I actually feel like I learned this when I like from trout fishing
Yeah.
for big trout. Like a big trout has to make like the same calculus that a bass and really everybody has to make, when they want to go get energy. So like I like to think of it this way. If you are a big dude, you're like this you're like Jeff, right? You're what, Jeff, you weigh like 230, 240, some stupid
Yeah.
amount of weight. And you're
Thanks,
like
bro.
you're a big giant guy, but just like a big guy. So like if Jeff is gonna be like, am I gonna get up off the couch watching TV? Like I'm watching TV, I'm hibernating right now before bed, and I want a snack. Am I gonna get up off the couch for like 2 peanuts? No, no, I'm not.
It's
It's
got to be
not
a
worth it.
good
It's
snack,
not worth it.
baby.
I need something that's going to make it
And
worth me expending the
chicken
energy. So
tendies with some
yeah,
Chick-fil-A sauce.
with the
I will get off
sauce.
the couch for that.
Right? You're gonna get up for a whole bag of chips, not for 2 chips. You may skip dinner if it's just a salad, but if it's a whole steak with potatoes, now you're gonna get up, you're gonna get out of your warm blanket, and you're gonna go eat. A trout has to make that same calculus. The big trout,
Hmm.
if they see that little nymph come by, that little tiny emerger, they're like, "Hard pass, bro. I'm not into it."
Yeah.
At midnight, when the rat comes by and they're like, "Okay, I know that I can get that. I'm going to have to fight. It's got claws and teeth and all this other stuff, but like that is like 1,600 nymphs worth of eating in one
Worth
charge.
it,
So I'm
baby.
doing it
Yeah.
now because I need the big meal." And a bass will make
Yeah.
the same calculus in winter. Now, people will tell you slow down, and that's certainly true. a Ned rig, a small jig, a drop shot. Those are all things that can work in winter. But really, that's for like super late winter. I think a lot of times you're better off slowing down and upsizing. The easiest possible meal for the most calories is going to be, I think, the bait that you have the most success with. Hence, glide baits, big
And
swim baits,
that's kind
little
of what we're
paddle tails.
doing.
Yeah.
We're gonna try it this weekend too. So what I'd like to try this weekend, I was talking to Paul earlier about it because we just got a bunch of Thunderhawk baits in, and one of them is the big swim bait. It's the Thunderbelly. So and Paul has the other one. I have one of them. But yeah, I think we're gonna throw this around. Is it 5 inch? 5 inch.
It is a 5 inch, which I actually asked the question on Instagram, and I got a lot of really good answers. I asked like for winter, late season. Oh, Fish in the Southeast just asked if I bought any trash fish. Jeff, what do you think about that? Did we buy
Paul
any?
didn't, and it was Paul's decision
Here.
not to.
Okay. So here is the 5 inch. So this is a Jerry
It's
Rago.
got a good thump to it. Yeah, Jerry Rago
It's meant to
co-signed
be in
on
a
it. I don't know
belly.
how much he
Meant to
designed
be
it,
in,
but
well, it's designed.
yeah.
It's by Jerry Rago. It's got a belly weighted hook set up here for you. It's actually pretty soft. It's not that stretchy, but it's really soft.
It
And then
feels
it's
pretty
got that
durable.
90-degree tail.
It's got a great kick. I threw it around for like 2 hours this weekend, didn't get anything on it, but the only thing I did catch on was
Sick.
a tiny tail spin, which we'll talk about in a minute, and a tiny paddle tail from mule fishing. Those were the only catches I had. And then Paul caught on a wake bait and a oh, you caught on the oh, what is it? The
The
scatter
swank, the
shad.
little swank.
No, you got on the
Oh
scatter
yeah,
shad.
the
The underspin, mustad
mustad
scatter
under.
shad.
Well, it's not an under. So Monster Bass gave us with the October box was included was
Yeah,
a mustad. We keep calling it the scatter shed. The scatter shed was mustad's version of
the
a
chatterbait
horrible
or
bait. It's the
bladed
worst bait I've
jig.
ever gotten. Top lowest three of a
The
bladed
blade was
jig,
affixed to the front,
and
right
it
by the
had two
line
holes in
tie.
it. It was god
Yeah,
awful.
it was
And
very bad.
it's executed so poorly. But this was a mustad underspin. My underspin broke off after the first fish,
Oh yeah,
and
you just have a jig head now.
I just have a jig head, so it was just an very aerodynamic jig head. Now,
What a
granted,
swell
the hook
bait.
was unbelievably stout,
It's a
very
mustad.
nice, but
Yeah.
my lord, and yeah, I caught a fish on it. I did, I did.
Nice work. Anyways, so I do want to give a shout out to Chris Shu for the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, my friend.
Cheers,
Good to
there
have you
goes there.
back watching the show. And he says, my dad said a fish finder is great to see the fish, but it doesn't make them bite, which is absolutely true. I have two Garmins on my yak. I use them as tools, not reliance. And that's exactly to our point. So, I mean, appreciate you, bud. Thanks for the super chat. Thank you for supporting the show. You guys, super chats are on if you wish to support us. We appreciate that. And also, there's a membership down below. And this is a good time to say members only live will be next
The
week. I
15th.
don't know.
It's
Next
the
week.
15th.
Thanks, guys. I was leaving room for you to fill that in. Thank
I
you.
did.
So, the Tuesday, the 15th.
So next week,
Members,
Tuesday.
all you folks you see in chat right now that have green names and a cool little BF symbol next to them, some of which are purple and chartreuse, meaning they are the topmost level. Yeah, you guys should join us next Tuesday. And if you're not with a green name, then you could click join and find out more later. All right. Anyways, back on point. So, what are we doing? What are we working with now?
So my recommendation really is upsize and downsize, and really think about like what makes one of the geez, GFon coming in with $10. I'm just
GFon with
gonna
a
say
$10 super
appreciate you, brother.
chat. What's up, dude? Thank
The
you. And
idea
like, what is that? A flying pear? I love it. The
with the
super pear.
headband. So the idea is what I want to see with my baits is I want to see something that seems easy,
Mhm.
right? Easy prey. So a Ned rig, I think, is a great option. The nice thing about a Ned rig is it always looks like
Party
really,
don't stop.
really easy piece of prey, which is what makes it so effective, especially in the river. The
And now, right now, we're kind of dragging or dead sticking it more than we used to, like in the summer, warmer weather. I'm hopping it pretty aggressively, going heavier jig heads, maybe swimming it. Right now, it's pretty much dead. Drop shots too. Like I tried drop shotting for a while this weekend and it just wasn't happening. And the wind really, I needed to go heavier. But yeah, it's sitting there. It's not doing anything. It's a very simple, easy meal for sure.
and a a glide bait specifically is a really great version of a big, like a larger bait, a larger profile that doesn't seem nearly as threatening, right? Especially when you're fishing it relatively slow. So something that's maybe not a slow sink, something that's maybe floating, you might have better success with.
Hmm.
I'm not going to say because I'm not a pro, but I will say that I was using, and I didn't realize this until after we left the lake. I was using a slow sink that was probably going 4 feet down, 3 feet down, and Jeff was using something that was, like, within a foot of the water column where he was fishing, like, near the top, and I think that might have been the biggest difference between why you were having a lot of success and I had 0 success.
Which bait are you talking about?
You were using the cha-cha?
Oh, on the swim bait day that we did?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so
And I was using the Glidesdale, and the Glidesdale is a slower it's a sink, though. It's a slow sink, but it's a sink, and it was
yeah,
down. I realized I was down, like, probably 4 plus feet at times. Even
yeah.
doing,
I
like, a
was rolling
pretty
aggressively that day, and I was also fishing that drop off. So at the top, it was
mhm,
like 3 feet, and it went down to 12, and I was like on the 3 feet section, and I was
mhm,
not hitting bottom. So yeah, it was like top 2 feet of the water
1, 2
column.
feet, and I was in, like,
Hmm.
4 to 5. So,
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it was a
It's
pike day. It was also a little bit
yeah,
different species than what we're mainly targeting or talking about right now. But nonetheless, yeah. Oh, I know. The party's happening right now. So
we'll
thanks
hit them.
to Stephen
We'll hit
Dacey
them.
for the 4.99 super chat. He says, I like this though. Paying my cable bill. I love it. Man, appreciate you. Have you guys ever night fished for bass? If so, any recommendations? I'm gonna tell you what, man. I'm gonna put a pin in that. Yes, we
Yes.
have. Have we successfully done so? Not. I wouldn't say yes. So we're gonna go find somebody who's better than us, and we'll learn about it. And that's gonna become an episode, but that's probably gonna be like a spring summer thing for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Is it something I really want to get better at? Absolutely. Have we night catfished? Paul does it religiously. I've done it several times, all of which have been great. So yeah, it's just totally different for bass. I haven't figured it out yet. I want to learn from somebody. I know Paul does too. So we'll come back to that. It's a good future episode idea. Thank you. All right.
So the last thing, so we talked a little about baits. I mean, and there are a lot of baits that fit the mold, right? A jerk bait fits that mold, right?
Hmm.
I think honestly, bladed baits they do well, but there is a point where that bite is going to go away, and I think it is like the 50-degree mark. It doesn't tend to do nearly as well, but it still can work. It just kind of depends on the lake and where everything's going on. I
Well,
actually
you're
don't
referring
know.
to bladed jigs and spinner
Yes.
baits, or are you talking about blade baits and
No, no,
tailspins?
no. I'm talking about
Okay.
bladed jigs. When
Yep.
the one
Agreed.
thing that I honestly do not know why they work so well is bladed jigs. Now I know that I don't fish bladed jigs as much in the winter the way that I should, which is going all the way to the bottom and letting them sit, kind of like you would do a spoon, and then bringing them up, maybe bringing a fish in with a rattle and then coming
Yeah.
back down. That's not how I've traditionally done it, and I've not been as great at it. So that's actually one of my goals this year. Tailspins, though, are the one that I don't necessarily understand. I don't know
Mm.
why they're so freaking effective in the
Yeah.
early spring and the late fall. I really don't. I have no clue, but they are, and I'm willing to die on that hill. I just don't know why.
So this weekend, you guys, we were struggling all day. I'm telling you, these winds were 14 to 20 miles an hour. Easy. It was
20, yeah,
insane.
15, 20 the whole time.
It was, yeah, it did not let up. There was no, safety zones except for like we found one spot behind one island, but it was 3 feet deep and there was like, that was a bluegill nest and there was nothing else there. Yeah. So we were struggling all day. And then at the end of the day, I tied on a Fish Lab tailspin. I think it's called the Bio Spin or the Bio
It's
Tailspin.
the bio shad tailspin.
Thank you. The Bioshed tailspin, and immediately first cast, I must have hit this fish on the head or something because immediately caught. And then two casts later, got another one, and then I got one at the ramp, all on the same bait. Um, it freaking works, and I had major success with them in the spring as well because I had that bait in the spring. I think it was around March I was catching on that. I didn't have them last year, but last year I had the Lunker Hunt, which has a Colorado blade, and I also had the what am I trying to think of? What's the Catchco one?
I don't
Uh,
remember.
I don't know. Anyways, there's a Catchco one. Death Stalker, the Death Stalker. That's what it is. So yeah. Hey, listen,
Why not? Why not?
aggressive.
Yeah.
alpha. Anyway, so I've caught on all of those, and I feel pretty. Oh, and I have the Sixth Sense one. I've caught on the Sixth Sense too in
The
the spring.
Sixth Sense one, I have to say,
I think it's called the
pretty
gyro tailspin.
I've got it out last
Yeah,
week, and I've gotta say, that thing is dialed. I had the
yeah,
3/4 ounce, and I was able with a 7.3 to 1, I had that thing dialed on the grass. It
yeah.
was really nice.
They're amazing. I think if I had to guess, because again, I don't have the facts here. Like it's that you're getting the effect of, the chasing bait fish like a spinner bait, but you've so downsized it, so condensed it, and it's so heavy that you can like drop it like its fall rate is so high. I mean, that you can drop it through the water column wherever you want. And the fish I caught this weekend, all three of them were burning it.
I
I was
know.
absolutely, if I was
That's why I
watching
don't
it, I was just
understand
like
that's why I can say I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense.
crushing it.
Like, I know
Yeah.
how it fishes, I know what it does. I don't
Hmm.
understand why that works in cold water versus warm
Sure.
water. I just don't, and it works in the summer, it's just not the same.
Well,
It's
I'll tell you
elite.
this.
It's elite in the winter.
You guys, I will refer you to another channel right now. Yep, I'm doing it. Technical Bassin just dropped a
Oh,
video like today
mm.
about fishing metal baits. I think it was today. Like it dropped today. So it's
Spoons, man.
spoons, it's tail spins, it's blade baits. So
There
if
you
you want
go.
to learn about just fishing straight metal, I think that's what the episode's called, whatever. So go watch it. But yeah, check it out. They always drop seminars. Like I learn a lot of stuff from them, wired to fish. Um, you name it. And then all the cool folks that we meet, obviously, Debo,
Aren't they owned
Basti,
by Disney
etc.
now?
Who?
Wired to Fish?
Owned by Disney?
Is it Wired to Fish or
I don't know.
is it, Tactical Bassin? I think one of them is.
Well, anyways, whatever.
Yeah,
Go pay your
I think
respects to Mickey Mouse, my friends.
I kinda think so. Bow down.
Anyways,
Alright, last thing before we get into some guest comments, well, the one that I got left, and then the
yep.
mid-show. So I wanna say, what setups are in your boat right now? Because 'Cause I'll be honest, I have more than what I normally have in my boat in the normal season. I have 1 or 2 more
I
rods than normal.
I carry 7 right now.
Mhm.
So if you guys don't know, we rock the Hobie Pro Angler, which has 6 spots for 6 rods in hull, at least storage wise in the rod tubes. So typically we would just take 6, right? Because we can get away with that. We use some multi-purpose rods, all of that. We get a little more specific this time of year. At least for me right now, I am bringing my swim bait rod every time. I'm bringing my light swim bait rod every time. So that takes up 2 spots. And then I have a crankbait, a jerkbait setup, a blade bait slash tailspin type setup, and then I have 2 finesse setups. So one is my medium light, and one is my light. Yeah, I don't go like I don't bring my medium heavy spinning setup, but with the medium light and the light, I can get away with a lot. That's my Ned rigs. That's my drop shot. Is like the main 2 that I use, right? Or it could be light to small jerk baits, lighter baits where I want more control, things like that. So yeah, that's my 7. What about you?
I right now I have 8. Um,
You bring
yeah.
ultralight
I
right now?
do. So,
Okay,
but actually, that's
I
not
kind
true.
of
I take
stowed
that
it.
back. I've gotten rid of the ultralight and I've gotten rid
Hmm.
of the medium. I've gotten rid of
Hmm.
both of them in favor of the medium light. The
Yep.
medium light that I use, I got to be honest with you guys. I don't know that I like the medium light that I have from Okuma. I think it's too soft for what I want. I
The
think I
psycho
actually need
stick?
it's the medium. Yeah, the medium light
Sure, I'll
Psycho
take it.
Stick.
That's fine.
It's you know what? It's the medium. It's the medium. I want the tournament concept. It's way
Oh
too
yeah,
whippy. I I think
you got it.
I need to get the medium in the, Guide Select.
Yeah,
Um, I'm not happy with it. I like something that's got a little like, that's a little faster action.
yeah,
That's just for what how I fish. But anyways, typically,
totally fair.
I get the medium light that covers my ultralight for the most part. There's a super wide range on that Psycho Stick, and then it goes all the way up for, like, drop shot, Ned rig, all that kinda stuff, which is sort of I only need 1 rod. Um, I have 2 rods for jigs, actually, all kinds of jig fishing. I have one that's a medium and one that's a medium heavy. The rod, and then I have, and those are both bait casters. And
Yeah,
then I also have the 2 heavy, and then like the swim bait, so that I can run
yeah,
2 different swim baits. The gigantic larger 2-ounce plus glide baits, and then like the 1 to 2.5 ounce on the heavy stick for like anything else in between there. And then I have 1 to 2 just like do it all setups. So medium
Yep.
heavies, because I can run jerk baits on those. I can run jigs on those. I can run plastics on those if I need to. But I kind of shun plastics this time of year for the most part. I have only touched plastics
And
maybe twice.
it's interesting because Baskeek brought that up last week. Like you don't think about the behavior of the plastic and the temperature of the water, right? So he brought up the point like Kitex, which by the way, on the Monster Bass channel when we went live with them, we had I forget his name, but the 6-year-old called in and he was like, "What should I be throwing?" Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And then we were like, "Throw a little paddle tail, dude. Throw a Kitech." And he threw a Kitech and he caught like a 2.5 pounder. And he was pumped.
Yeah.
They sent me a picture on Instagram. It was
That's
awesome.
awesome.
I was like, this is like the
So
coolest thing
sick.
ever. That was so cool. So at any rate, yeah, like the Kitech is a softer plastic. So the softer plastics tend to behave still the way they're supposed to versus like a more rigid, harder plastic, less supple, if you will, is not going to behave the way it's supposed to in colder temps. So I thought that was like an important thing to call out as well. So yeah, but do we shun plastics? Yeah, we tend to go to the hard baits at this point,
I
especially
do.
in the metal baits for sure too. And I wanted to point out too, Creek Crawler pointed out like, hey, us Midwesterners, we put away topwater too early. Totally agree. Like I still want to try it though, and I still sometimes do. We were throwing walking baits a week ago, 2 weeks ago, probably a week ago, 2 weeks
2
ago.
weeks ago. Yep.
So we were throwing big topwater walking baits. Like we try not to. I think it's just we all lose confidence in it. We're like, it's cold. They don't do that. Bye. And they're not busting like they usually do when it's a little bit warmer temps. So totally agree. Also, he said he looks forward to staring at a flasher for 8 hours. And I'm like, I totally agree. I want my cozy tent.
Kind of
The
don't
cozy
hate it.
tent's fun. It's I'm like it's growing on me. I was like dreading it the moment we saw snow like what 4 weeks ago. I saw that snow. I was like, no, but I do look forward to it. It's still fun. All right, should we do this mid show?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do
So
it.
I want to hit 2 comments. One, JM Fishing, welcome to the crew. Just joined the Burley Bunch
Welcome.
Elite. Thanks,
Heck yeah,
brother.
dude.
Good to have you. And then Joshua Simpson just typed this in. He said that I have,
I'm
and I
insane.
quote, gremlin energy.
Gremlin energy,
Yeah,
like the
I have
car.
gremlin.
What happened? How
Tight.
long have we been
I guess
gone?
we were gone and now we're back.
All right. Well, if you guys haven't heard us for the last 30 seconds, we're doing the mid-roll segment. So we just welcomed JM Fishin to the Burley Bunch Elite. Welcome.
Correct.
Yeah, it
And
cut out for me.
Simonson, Joshua Simonson, who said it just cut out for him, and it's 10 seconds. Joshua Simonson said that I have, and I quote, gremlin energy, which
And you do.
I'm not gonna fight that. I don't think that I can.
You should own it. I mean, that's who
Yeah, I
you
mean, you
are.
gotta be who you're gonna be, and that's what I am. So,
Which brings us to our mid-show segment.
this is gonna be good.
Which is all right, so I will say this. This is not gonna be the last time we do this mid-show segment because it's one that we like wholeheartedly love. It's called You're Gonna Tell Me That I'm Wrong.
You have to
And
say it like you're on TikTok.
it's basically where generally Paul, of the two
Yeah.
of us,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
decides to die on a hill. So Paul, what hill are you gonna die on today?
This one's pretty easy, I'm gonna be honest with you. I would climb up to the very top of Mordor, slide down, melt myself, and then come back as a gremlin and climb back up again to die on this hill one more time. Uh, leader, leader, leader knots. I had that one ready, Chaz. It was because of the Frodo comment. All right, and I don't really understand that one. I'm not gonna lie. Uh,
Listen,
I'll
doesn't
let's
matter. So leader knots. Leader
yeah.
knots are
Le-
using leader
no,
lines.
not it's not knots. Using a leader
Using a
line.
leader.
I
Okay.
think that everybody, every single
Everybody.
angler, even beginner
You.
anglers, even if you're fishing in super dark water and it's not a requirement, I feel like my opinion is strong opinion, you should be using a leader. I used to not I used to not use a leader. I used to not think that it was
Same.
critical. I
Same.
was like a straight braid fisherman and it just seemed like a lot of work for a minimal payoff. Uh Fast forward maybe 4 years, And every single rod, every single one, every single setup I have has a leader on it. Every one.
Every single one. 100%. And they get retied a lot. And is it a pain in the butt sometimes? Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you're out on the water and it's 15 to 20 mile an hour winds and you realize that your one rod has like 3 inches of leader left. And like, this is what I did this weekend, you guys. I know I'm not alone in this, but you keep tying knots until you have like this much leader left and you see how far you can take it
I don't do that.
until. No, I'm not alone. It was darker water and they didn't really care this weekend, but
Sure.
um then you got to retie your uni, your Alberto, your whatever your like connection knot of choice is. It can be a pain in the butt. And if you're wading the river, that's when it's the most pain. That said, I can effectively say that we catch more fish now because of it. Like I know it plays a role in it. And we had the funniest comment a few weeks ago. We've mentioned it a few times, I think, but the dude that was like, that's a conspiracy, like that's not real. And then people would say we catch more fish because we use leaders now, and he said placebo effects. I love that. I love that so much. All right.
So what
So
is your knot of choice?
for connection knot, line
Yeah.
to line.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for braid to fluoro, mine is the Alberto, which is or the Albright. No, Alberto. It's for sure the Alberto. I mix those two up like all the time, and I know Debo does too. Um, Paul Casper says placebo. I love it. So yeah, it's the Alberto knot is super easy. It's the one where you like loop your leader line, you take the braid, you go through the loop, and then you go 8 times, and then you come back 8 times and go back out the loop, and then you just cinch it down. I can tie them with my eyes closed. I can tie them very fast. Like I feel good about it. And it's a very strong knot. Is it as
Yeah.
strong as the FG? I don't know, but it's a pretty darn strong knot, at least strong enough for every fish I've ever caught. So,
I
and
think
that's
it's
including
really
pike.
so I have tied a lot of FG knots at this point. Um,
Hmm.
I really, really like the FG knot if you are patient and you have time to tie it right. What I don't like about the FG knot is if you don't get your wraps really tight or you're not taking your time when you are tying off the ends,
Hmm.
um, they do come undone. And
Yeah.
that's my problem is that, like, the knot itself, like, it's not constructed in a way where it's bulletproof. Like, if you don't tie it well, it will come undone, and I don't like that. That's
Yeah,
what
Yeah.
bothers me
a
about
simple
that
mistake
knot.
ruins it completely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
I
if you're
mean, you
just not paying
can.
attention, the knot will come undone, versus, like, with the way you tie your shoes, it can be disgusting. You can do it horribly, but if you've executed the knot, your shoes will remain on your feet,
It
you
also
know?
doesn't have to deal with X amount of pounds of force on your shoelaces
No, but you
because
see what I'm
it's
saying? Like
distributed throughout
the
your
way
shoe.
that
But
like
yeah,
okay, so a
no,
double fisherman's knot or a double uni knot, which is the knot that I use if I'm trying to go quickly. What
I
I
love
like
this
about
one.
yeah,
Adam says FG is fishing elitism. I love that so
I
much.
disagree. The
Doesn't matter if you disagree, it's
I know,
funny.
I disagree. So when you tie a double uni, as long as you just execute the knot, like if you just tie the knot,
Yep.
the wraps can be garbage. You don't even have to cinch it down all the way. You can clip it really darn close,
Here's
and it won't come
the
undone.
issue. The uni knot I have had, and the double uni specifically for connection knot, I've had that break so many more times. Well, in fact, a million more times than my Alberto knot is broken. My
You've
Alberto,
had the knot break?
I have never popped an Alberto knot, not once ever. The double uni, I popped it at least a dozen times. Right
So
at the connection,
for the
and
last 2 years,
I tied it the way you're supposed to
for
tie
the
it.
last 2 years, I have only used an Alberto or a
Same.
double uni. I've only used a double uni and an FG. Those are the only 2 knots that I use.
Oh, I've only used Alberto, and I've had zero issues.
I've had
Period. The
literally
end.
not one issue. The only issue that I've had is when and really it only happens on ultralight where I can't see the wraps because they get so small. And
We're
I
using
will
2 and 4 pound test. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's when I'm and really it's when I'm in the river because in my
Yeah.
kayak I have the ability to get leverage. Because the nice thing about the FG knot, and I will say this for the FG knot, if you're in a place where you know you can get leverage on all four pieces, you're golden. Like you
Yeah.
can't tie it wrong as long as you have leverage. it's when you're in the river or you're standing up vertical.
You're holding it
You
with your
can't
toes, and it's in your teeth, and
you just can't get leverage on all 4
yeah,
pieces.
yeah. Interesting. I love how this divulged into a not conversation when you
Palomar.
intended it to
I
be
know. But you
about
gotta use a
line.
leader. I
You
really
got
but
it. You gotta
I
say it. Say
I
the
won't
line.
you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong? You have to use a leader. I don't like, I will say, like, I wouldn't go and tell anybody, like, if you're like, don't use an Alberto, use a double uni, or don't tie the FG knot, or what. Like, I wouldn't tell anyone to not use, like, almost any leader knot. They're all fine.
Mhm.
I would
If you
go
do it
and,
right.
like, get into a fight with somebody or an argument about them saying, like, you don't need to use a leader.
And this isn't to say, like, you can't go pure fluoro or mono. Like, we're saying if you have a braid, which I feel like a vast majority of us at this point are using braid as your main line.
It's superior in almost every
It's
situation.
just better. Like, it just
I don't
is.
know. I feel like
It's
maybe I'm gonna
fine.
go back on that someday, but, like, I don't know. I don't
I
think I
won't.
will.
You can tell me that I'm wrong. All
Yes,
right.
because I'm
Anyways,
telling my old self that I was wrong from, like, a couple years ago.
then you can say that in the future. It's
I
fine.
might.
People change. People evolve. Let's move on. All right, so that's our mid-show segment.
Yeah.
54 minutes into the show. We're
I
absolutely crushing it. So the rest of the show for today, though, there's just a couple things, a little bit of a hinting at next week because I don't want to talk tackle organization this week. We have so much to talk about on that concept. It deserves its own episode. So you guys, you're going to want to come back next week. We were talking all things tackle boxes, tackle bags, storing in a kayak. How much stuff can you fit in your kayak if you want to pack light? You guys love our river bags, the Fish Pond Thunderhead, if you're going to ask. It's the waterproof submersible bag that you can carry down the river. So if you, and use as a life jacket actually, which we've done before, you can literally not drown because of it. We're going to talk about all those things and our tackle organization plans because I feel, and Paul can correct me if I'm wrong, which I'm not, about 7 times a year we completely overhaul our entire situation, and that's part of the fun of fishing to me. It's kind of like building and rebuilding Legos. I don't know. It's like a little construction piece that goes into fishing, and you get to make things a little more unique, customized, more efficient. I feel like it gets more efficient every time. So without further ado, we're going to talk about that next week. So be back next week. We're going to do it all. And maybe have a guest. I don't know. We're trying. Like the guy's a busy guy. If we can get him on, awesome. It's Caleb, and I'm calling him out on this episode right now. In fact, Caleb, you should be on our show next week. He won't watch it and he won't answer our texts. It's fine. But he's a cool dude, and he also invented the Busby stuff. So it would be nice if we can get him. If we can't, that's okay. We have plenty to talk about. Trust us on that. Anything else you want to do before we slow roll the thunder out?
No, I'm
Good.
good.
All right. I love the
Wow.
mid roll is like the end of the show, the end segment.
We went
So
the rail counter is probably like 38.
it's at 1 billion. But real quick, we've got another new member here. We got Nick Rodriguez. Welcome to the Burley Bunch Elite, and then quickly upgraded to the Shark Deuce
Smart
level.
play.
Nick, by the way, next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, you should come hang out with us.
We'll
We'll be
see
back
you there
here. Yep, members only live. What
next
is it, the
Tuesday.
15th? November 15th, the Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Anyways, let's move to Slow Rolling Thunder. You guys know the drill. You need to chat. You need to say stuff in here. You can ask questions if you want to. Say whatever you want. Today, we're switching gears. No gift card this time because I ran out. I got to restock them. Don't worry. But for today, we're actually going to do whatever is in Paul's wallet. What do you got, Paul? $100? I'll take it. We have 20-year-old condom. We got, oh no, there we go. Man, I love fishing. Look at that.
The
So
old MILF sticker.
the old milk sticky. So what do we got? We're gonna pick some stuff out, and while he's there we go, Busby koozie. Nah, we'll just make this a little show and tell. You just pick the stuff out, then we'll do the slow roll. You guys keep chatting. You do your thing. You keep going. P line 8-pound test. Okay, good all around. I think anybody who gets that would be happy. You got anything with hooks?
I'm getting the other bin.
All right, we got another bin. You
Sheesh.
guys don't even let me help you guys understand this. Paul and I have multiple gigantic tubs filled to the brim with plastics like that. There's a
This
Sixth
thing
Sense
is so
flush.
sick.
That
This
is a
one is in baby
fantastic jerk bait.
crappie. I won't be able to do the justice
You
of this
can't do
color.
it justice on camera.
This color is my favorite color.
Chris Shue, welcome back to Snorlax. Were you ever Snorlax? Wasn't he? I don't know. Welcome back anyways. Love you, dude. We got some MB shaky heads. They're kind of almost like a football style shaky head. It's a bit wider.
And then we'll throw in one of these bad boys.
Oh, there you go. The adrenaline bug, 4-inch
Yep.
adrenaline bug. Some good stuff in here. So we might. They want the whole bin. All
Too
right,
bad.
the whole bin next time. And you know what? That'll take. What do you think, Paul? If we get super chat up to like $250, I'll give away an entire bin, and it'll get lost by UPS, and then I'll spend the next month battling UPS to get compensation for it. Too bad, losers.
All right.
I love Rob. All right, slow
So
rolling thunder. Let's do it.
start chatting. If you guys don't know, if you're new to the show, all you have to do to enter is start chatting. I know they are, but maybe not everybody is. Type anything into chat. You're entered to win the giveaway. We're going to go through 3 questions. Maybe after the second one, we'll go ahead and pick a random person who has commented in the last couple of minutes. And you're just going to follow the instructions on screen, and I will get you all of this stuff. So, question number 1 of the slow rolling thunder.
Hood.
Second question of the
Rocks.
Dang it.
Down with big
Third-
sunscreen.
4th question.
I win.
No, you didn't. Wrong answer. The what is the best, and when I mean old, I mean like gateway computer from like 1995. Like best
Ooh.
old computer game. Like one of those games that like
Too many.
you could only get the game if you bought the computer, and like there was no other way to get the game. Like, or you had to get one of those floppy disks for the apples that was like the size of your head. Like
All
that.
right, so
like
you mean
that
like
level.
just a really old game, or you mean one that you had to get a computer to get back?
Just
in
like
the day?
it had to be a computer game, and
Right,
it
okay,
was
okay,
like
okay.
it was one that
So-
you could play in like computer lab and nowhere else.
I can't give one answer, so I'm going to give you guys 3 answers.
Oh,
4.
3.
So here they are. Ready? Doom, obviously. Duke Nukem 3D. These are all floppy disk, by the way, all of them. And there's a game I had on like Windows 95. It was called Chips Challenge, and it had 1,000 levels. And it was just like a little top-down view, and you just like walk around, and you collect microchips, and it was hilariously fun and difficult. And then the 4th one I'll throw at you, like somehow my dad randomly got this game. I don't even know where it came from, but it was called Cosmos Cosmic Adventure. And you were like this little green dude with suction cups, and you would like climb up walls, jump on bad guys. And it was like as terrible as you can think of graphics were back then. And the sounds were even worse with all of those games. But my God, I played that game 1,001 times at least. Because like when you had back in the day, we only had like 2 or 3 video games. You guys, like, we're that era, right? You would have 2 or 3 games, and you would just play them over and over and over again. And maybe if you were rich, your friends were rich.
I feel like maybe you're not going far back enough. Like in
you want me to go
mind,
Oregon Trail?
That's what was my answer.
Okay.
That was
I never
my
played
answer.
that
But I had
stuff.
but I have another.
Okay, go
answer.
for it.
Dude.
Yep.
Ski
Pong.
free.
Yes. Sorry, what?
Ski free.
Well, yeah. So that was like installed. You would get that in pinball, right?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Ski free was the OG,
abominable snowman would run out and bite you in half, and you'd be like,
who was just 2 gray balls stacked on top of each other with a mean face and 2 sticks.
like they just skin. You're like, this game's fun.
It was
and then
17 pixels total.
Yeah, the whole
My
game.
answer is Quake.
Quake is not.
See,
First
you're
of
not
all,
going
Quake,
far back enough.
that's
Quake
not far
came
back
out in
enough.
'96. It came out in '96.
Wait, so Quake was the first game that I learned about no clip with, and I just no clip the whole game.
I'll be honest.
so
One of the
funny.
best computer games ever made, and I like. Here's another hill I will die on. Quake 3 Arena. Like I will.
Oh yeah,
That game.
absurd.
I lost a whole lifetime to Quake 3 Arena, and then right after that, Unreal Tournament. Like,
See,
Chaz
Chaz would say like Counter Strike, and like to be fair,
it's not old.
there are older
was
ones,
the
but
beta for Counter Strike.
I played like one of the
That's when I
older
started playing
versions.
Counter Strike was CS.
It's
beta.
not that old.
Yeah, but for me, I was 6
Pretty
years
old.
old at the time.
You should have specified a a
I
year
literally,
range if
I
you have a
literally
problem
said
with this.
if you had to get the game, it had to come on a floppy disk. Okay,
Yeah, all of the
that
ones I
game.
mentioned were on floppy disks.
Yeah, you're safe. I'm not calling you out.
Thank you.
Calling
Get
anyone
out,
else.
Chaz. I'm kidding.
Quake you had to get at the store, and I think the original one actually did come on a floppy disk.
They put Quake on a floppy? There's
No,
no way.
lies
Jeff
on
named
lies on
Doomed.
lies.
Doom didn't come on a floppy either.
All right, Jeff, you're fired. Your answers suck. Next game. All right, here we go. Best.
Next one.
And after this one, we'll do the giveaway.
Okay.
Best standard mall restaurant. It's like you go to the mall, limited selection. What's the top of the tops for you? So it's like Sbarro, whatever
Ruby
Chinese restaurant.
Tuesday.
Ruby Tuesday is not standard. That's a sit down. They don't have all those.
It's
I'm
always in
talking
a
about
mall.
the food court. I'm talking food court.
Food court. Okay.
Yes.
Panda Express. Just because I used to work at gyms that were in the mall. And
Yes.
like I would eat at Panda all the time, which I get it. Doesn't make sense.
Auntie
But you
Anne's
can
is
make
not a
Panda
restaurant.
healthy. Auntie Anne's is not a restaurant. It's a snack stand.
That's
people.
not the same thing.
Next, you're gonna say Orange Julius. No,
that came.
snack
I think
stand.
someone said
There's
that.
super cheap like pizza places in there where you get that
Yeah,
giant
Sbarro.
slice for like. Well,
Sbarro.
It wasn't.
I'm on it.
It wasn't there where I. It wasn't called that where I lived.
But it's all the same.
Really? Okay.
Chick-fil-A is not
there's
there.
always a generic
Mom's cinnamon
replacement.
roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mom's cinnamon rolls
But
is
it's the
not a
same.
restaurant. I don't. It has to come with
Cinnabon?
sides. It has to come with Olga's
No,
is a
no.
really good answer.
You have to have
actually.
a protein, a carb, and potentially
saying. And a
a
drink.
vegetable of some sort, and a drink.
What else is in the food court? Like what even is is there usually a McDonald's in the food court?
Olga's Kitchen.
That's what I said. Olga's is
Yeah,
good.
that's good.
There's always a McDonald's or Burger King. What
Yeah,
else
if you're
even
lucky,
is
you
there?
get the one that has McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, and KFC or something, and you
It
can
has
just
all
go.
the same brand. Yeah. I think it's got to be.
And if
I
you're
think it's
sad,
got-
your mall has a Subway.
Dude, who eats Subway at the mall? It's just sad.
That's what I said. It's so sad.
That's just sad.
Our mall didn't have a Panda Express. We had a generic Chinese restaurant.
Exactly.
Yeah,
There's
no, that's
always
fine.
one.
And that's
There's
my answer
always
too.
one.
You know why? They all have udon.
They want
noodles.
an international
And the
selection.
udon noodles, that is top shelf cuisine as well.
Yeah.
I think at the mall. Gotta be. Also, when's the last time you were at a mall? I think it's gotta be 10 years.
Most of them are dead.
I did go to a mall
I think 2006.
to buy pants because I didn't know where else to buy dress pants.
So, like Jackson still has a mall.
That mall is not a mall. That mall
it's-
sucks. It is garbage.
it's a
It is
mall.
dog dirt. There's a
That's
Best
what
Buy.
malls
It's
are.
so bad.
Ann
I
Arbor
think-
still has one. Lansing still
Yes.
has one. All
Those-
cities still have malls, and
Mhm.
I've gone.
Well, you
Usually
can't
now,
eat them all.
you go to the exterior stores, right? So you go to the big, like the JC Penney, the
Oh yeah,
Kohl's,
I'm not going into
don't-
Claire's to get a
You
piercing.
don't go through the Kohl's to get into the mall part. You just say heck that
Yeah.
noise and you leave.
That's a good point.
Anyways, all right, let's draw a winner, Chaz. What do you say?
I like it.
Winner is Frank Duchette.
Frank, is it
Doucette?
Doucette or Duquette?
It's not Duchette.
You said
like
Chaz
Doucette.
Doucette.
Yeah, I know.
Frank-
I said Duchette.
Frank Doucette.
You could hear me, so yeah.
That's Canadian
All right,
too.
Frank,
We're
congrats,
going
dude.
international.
Oh boy, good. I love
I
shipping
don't
dates
care.
international.
I'm happy to
Don't
do
do
it for this.
UPS.
I'm happy to do it for
we're,
Frank.
We're done with them.
Frank, say hi and then follow the instructions on the screen. And while you are doing that, or you could just hit me up on Instagram, whatever. While we're waiting for that,
then you win.
I have
Good job.
I have the question.
Yes.
Worst trap in Home Alone movie history.
The worst, as in
Like
it
the
could kill
one
someone, or it's just not a good trap.
No,
Like-
not an ineffective trap. The one that would cause the most damage.
The most damage.
Yeah.
It is the double can face pipe.
No, the pipe.
through the floor.
The swinging pipe. Honest to
Yes.
God, every single time
They're
and
dead.
it's like this big cast iron 4 foot wide
Yes.
thing. and it's right into both their heads somehow, even though they're
And then they
different
go
heights.
through the floor
Yes, all the
to
way down to
the
the basement,
basement.
the subfloor
Can you
onto
imagine
concrete.
falling a story
It was
after you got
3 story. It was 3
knocked
stories.
unconscious?
They were on the 2nd story. So they go down to 1, then from 1 all the way down. Yeah.
You gonna
Now,
tell me that I'm wrong?
the electrocuted one is
Is very close.
that
He
is the
probably
best.
died too,
He
but
died twice in the same thing.
2 people
Now
died in the other
now
one.
tool shed rolling down the stairs is a decent answer. Uh, that's painful. But what you guys
I
are
don't
all
think it kills
sleeping
him.
on, you guys are all sleeping on a big one though. You're sleeping on a big one.
The cut rope.
No,
The
bad, but not
burning fire rope, fall through, cans
exploding
dropped
bathroom,
on.
exploding toilet is bad. So he
Oh,
puts
yeah,
his
he's
head
pretty
in a
dead.
toilet full of kerosene. That's not good.
He's
So
dead.
he's dead.
That's
He's
not
dead.
good.
That's not good.
You're watching this with your kids, you're like, "Whoa, you see that? That's not good." Wow, is it not good?
There are 2 that are there are actually 2 that I think are
Oh my
worse.
God.
There are 2 that I think are actually worse than both of those.
Brick to head 3 times
Bad, but
from
this is
3rd
bad,
story.
but this is what you guys are all
Okay.
sleeping. You guys are all sleeping on Home Alone 3. Okay. In a Home Alone
Oh,
3, in a Home
it's
Alone
not
3,
real. It
in a Home
never
Alone 3,
happened.
he gets them stuck in a bathtub in the middle of winter in which they go overnight. They are dead.
There's a pool.
Yes, it's in a
Yeah,
pool
he
and it's
swapped the
frozen.
trampoline for the
Yes.
pool. They went through the trampoline.
And
They're
they're stuck
stuck
in
in
that
there.
overnight, and at
They're
the end, they're
dead.
just wearing, like, ice tutus. No, those guys are dead. Those are
For
dead.
sure dead.
Now, but there is one that's even worse, and this one to me takes the cake. He starts the guy pulls the chain, starts a
Yeah.
lawnmower from the ceiling of the garage, and it lands on his face.
And it just shaves his head.
But all it does is give him a buzz cut.
The man
But
was
that guy
decapitated.
is deceased for sure. No question.
That man is a body with a stump for a neck.
A literal lawnmower from the ceiling of the garage, and all he got was the haircut.
He's like, "That's fine." Dude, there's so pretty much
Do
all of them are
what?
bad. I would
Do
also
what?
say the
Oh, God.
100-pound bag of concrete mix that fell on his head from
But
3 stories.
it's my favorite. Was like,
It just hits him with his head back like
and
this.
his holding so the rope is like.
Oh, wow. All right, well, obviously
You
a
know what I
lot of
like
these
about that?
things would kill people.
Whoever the stunt double was, outstanding work, because you'll notice when he gets hit by that, his feet go straight up, and it literally does look like he got from like 3 stories up, bag of concrete,
Smoked
40
by a
pounds,
fluffy
right to
pillow.
the dome, absolute bullseye.
Can you
Oh,
imagine?
God.
Because they had to have used a pillow, right? So, like, they pillow prop it, but it has dust that comes out. Somebody had to, like,
Yeah.
pillow slam
He
this.
he absolutely that you know what? That's a stunt of the
Got
year. That's
wrecked.
unbelievable.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't think there's anything, I don't think there's anything in the hotel, Home Alone 2 that is even close to as bad as that. That was amazing.
no, no. I mean, yeah, it's the lawnmower to the face. Pretty tough. Pretty
Tough
tough.
to top. But yeah,
Uh.
I will say taking a probably 80-pound, cast iron pipe swung from directly above you
It's
180
the worst
degrees
one.
on a frozen rope
The
right to your
velocity
face.
at which that
Yes,
struck.
and then on top of that, adding insult to injury or adding injury to injury, you get to fall 3 stories and land directly on concrete.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. You guys are calling out, like, the stepping on ornaments, the
I don't
stepping on
care.
the nail. Listen, 100%, that would suck. We're
Yeah,
talking
bad,
about
uncomfortable.
catastrophic failure would kill you. These are the worst ones.
The
Like, for
Terminator would
sure.
struggle to rise from getting hit with that from getting hit with that pipe
Oh,
in the face.
yes, absolutely.
Terminator 1 would not be getting up
And
quickly.
as we all roll into the holiday season inevitably, you guys are all gonna watch the Home Alone movies. Please do not watch 3, 4, 5, and whatever else is left, because they don't exist. They're not real. They're terrible. But 1 and 2, watch them back to back and realize how big of a step up in terms of being a serial murderer Kevin has become in the second one, because he 10x's his traps, bro.
He's
Everything
literally
in the
shooting
first
the
one,
guy in the face with a nail gun.
the first one is such child's play. Like everything we've said is like
Oh, I
in
got
the
hit in the head with a
second one.
bag of wrenches. Oh no. Oh, I slipped off the ladder and I hurt my back. Wah.
Can of paint to the face, not fun, but you fell down 4 stairs. Like you're fine.
top 10 lines of all time. And it's not, this might be a top 3. I hope your parents got you a tombstone for Christmas. They're watching out for
Still,
kids. Hope your parents got you a tombstone for Christmas.
but still, don't worry, Harry. I'll get him. Which is the lead pipe scene. Gets
Bam.
wrecked.
Oh god.
So good. All right. Well, anyways, is that a
On
wrap?
that
I
note,
think that's a wrap.
yep. Oh, that's it.
Well,
Oh,
all right.
God.
You guys are awesome. We appreciate you for hanging out with us through all the rails that we jump over. Wait, what? Do the face thing? Don't do the no. What this is? Anyways, we'll see you guys next week. So next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, for all y'all who are awesome people, not necessarily just members. Members and great people meet us on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, where we're talking about tackle organization for the season. It's coming down as tackle organization season, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about with that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then if you're a member, you can come out Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be hanging out talking all the member stuff. That's the behind the scenes stuff. That's the stuff we don't talk about in public. Rolls eyes. It's fun things. I mean, I don't know. We have a lot of fun on those. And we also bring everybody on video, and we do this Brady Bunch scene, which is really cool. So if you want to come on video with us, I mean, come hang out Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Well, not every Tuesday, but next Tuesday it is. It's usually mid-month. If you guys just joined today, you can expect it every single month. We do one of them. All right. That's all we got for you. So congrats to Frank for winning the giveaway. We'll be shipping that out across the old border via not UPS. Should be a lot of fun. And we appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time. Childs, take us out.
Took a swing at a wrecking ball and I prayed for my downfall, and I found a way to reconcile, 'cause in my heart it's not worthwhile. It's a bloody battlefield where some go down, others heal. In the end it's all the same. All you can do is play the game. Oh, do we say goodbye? Refuse to question why. I'm sad to say I'm sorry, so lie. Pretend that you're okay. Swear that you will stay. Keep trying for one day. I'm sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. There's nothing left for me to hide. Don't wanna live a lie. Too many lows, too many highs. Too many things to criticize. And so I leave it all behind. Don't wanna live a lie. Life kept spitting at my feet and forced me down a dead-end street, when all I had went up in flames, burning only dark remains. I cover up every part of my skin, oh, 'cause I don't like the person within, oh. I know I'm the one to blame. All I can do is take the shame, oh. Do we say goodbye? Refuse to question why. I'm too sad to say I'm sorry, so lie and pretend that you're okay. Swear that you will stay. Keep trying.